Now this is the tea. It's your boy, I Read Reddit. Welcome back to another episode of Entitled Parents. Throw a shrimp on the barbie right now, add some prawns, and get ready to go. This is going to be spicy, because this first episode it's really something. Our first post coming from user Tilo Bebs, titled, "My mum wants me pregnant so she can take care of her reborn father." The same BS, people. The difference is that English is my first language because my mum was an in-flight slave, as King Julian might say, and she taught me English with Disney movies with a lot of talking. but still, I'm on mobile, and she didn't taught me how to properly write English, so I'm writing as the Brazilian schools could. Now for some context. In November 2014, my family of 5 women had a great loss. My grandpa died of cancer. The cancer spread to his stomach, his lungs, and a little bit of his brain and his spine. What a crappy way to go, right? He was the solid base of my family. He handled everything that his wife, his 2 daughters, and his 2 granddaughters needed every single day of his life. Now, in December 2018, we lost my grandmother. She had Alzheimer's way before my grandpa died, but it got so much worse after he did die, we actually thought that she died with him. The first death made my mother go full over protectionism with my grandmother, obviously. This little woman was her mother, it's normal. But when she died, after 4 long years, when I say it was long, it felt like 20 years for me, because I was the one taking care of her, not her daughters, but me. My mum, this little sprout of an entitled mother, went bat crap crazy. Now, I'm gonna tell the story. My mum had a dream about this tiny little house. Her mum was there, my grandmother, and her sister too, my auntie, and the house was full of kids. All white kids, boys and girls with white clothing, and there was this black little baby boy with colourful clothes. My grandmother put the baby outside to get some sun, and the children went to play. But it started to rain so badly that everybody got inside. But then my mother realized, where's the baby? She got out of the house and saved the baby from the rain. When she woke up, she visited both a mother of saints, which is a candomblé priestess, a sort of Brazilian priestess, and a card reader, and told them about her dream. Both told her that she was foreseeing that her father, my grandfather, would be reborn in a soon-to-happen pregnancy, and that the pregnancy wouldn't be planned or wanted by the parents, and that they would harm the baby, aka abortion. She immediately yelled at me, saying that I was about to get pregnant, that I should take care so as not to get pregnant, that she would legally take the child from me, and that she would not allow me to even think about abortion in any situation, because my grandfather's rebirth is more important than my health or happiness. I forgot to tell you something. I'm a 26-year-old woman, I have no job, and my life stopped for 3 years because I was the one taking care of my grandmother. I'm trying to find a job since she died, but it's hard. My boyfriend is trying to help me, but it's still hard. A couple of days ago, we went to visit some relatives, and one of my older cousins had a baby. The baby is now 4 months old, and my mother wouldn't let go of her. While she held her, my mother wouldn't stop begging me for a baby. "You can have a baby now, you know. You're 26, you'll be too old soon." Not my dream to be a mum, sorry. "But I want a baby to take care of, and it's my dad coming." "No, it's not. That fortune teller was lying to you." "But you could just get pregnant and I'll take care of the baby." "I don't have a job, Mum. Plus, my boyfriend's not really interested in being a dad now." "How could you do this to your grandpa? He's gonna be so mad at you." "He would be way more ticked at me for having a baby with no job to support said baby." The trip back home was something unique. She talked for 5 hours straight about how this would be important for me because I need to grow up and how this would teach me to be a responsible adult. But she wants to take care of the baby. Just her. I wouldn't be able to say anything about its education. Nothing. Nothing extraordinary here. I just need to vent now. She's not a bad mother. She's just entitled. You know, I'm the mum, you should listen to me. You're supposed to be by my side. Why are you listening to him or her? I am your mother. You know, she's not a bad mum. She's the kind of mum that would starve herself so I can eat. She would freeze to death so that I could have a jacket. My mum went through hell to stay with me, because the lame excuse of a father that I have used me as a tool to keep my mother with him. He's a POS. I love her, and I know that what she's been through, but some of her actions are just unreal, like this one. Okay, this took too long, I'm sorry for this. No, I don't blame her. I can see this being a completely real situation, and she obviously isn't over the death of her father. I hope the mom's alright, but where do you draw the line with these people? Our next story was posted by user ImaginaryBroccoli6, titled, "Call Me a Nazi? In Germany? Okay." Bit of a story ahead. Hey everyone, I'm currently in Germany for holiday again. This story happened a few days ago, but I was pretty busy with college visits in London, Dresden, and Paris. Quick context. If I had not mentioned in my previous posts that I'm Indonesian German, German on my dad's side and Indonesian on my mum's. Many people always say that they can't see the Indonesian in me, which is fair, but my skin color is a mix of dark and light. Literally, I can stand in the sun for hours and not get a sunburn, but just a deep tan. Anyways, on the German side, I've been bullied immensely for being German, and I get called a Nazi hundreds of thousands of times during high school. Hence, that's the reason I joined Foundation College and dropped out of high school at grade 10. On with the story. I was visiting Dresden for a bit of a shopping spree, even though it's getting a bit boring, not gonna lie, with my father. We first went to the restaurant, which is a famous seafood restaurant chain. Now I must add, I'm unable to speak German, but I do understand basic words and swear words. This entitled mother and her 2 children came up, and this is the first ever time I've witnessed the legendary Karen haircut, which really did not fit her. Aww. Anyways, she sat right on our table while we were still eating. She didn't even ask. She just sat down at our table and didn't say anything. All of a sudden, she just looked and said, "Well?" "Well what? Aren't you gonna serve me?" Do I look like I'm in uniform? The uniform, by the way, is a blue shirt and a black chef apron. Yeah, you do. Now go get my meal. How am I supposed to give you or anyone give you anything if you haven't said what you wanted to eat? And also, this is a self-serve restaurant. Just go get my order. Here's €5. What? Arschluch. You know, I understood that. And with that, I'm not going to help you, so pee off, lady. I kept the €5, lol. Later in the day, I was shopping for some new clothes in New Yorker with my dad, and the same entitled mother was there. And I said to my dad that this is the woman who I worked with at the restaurant. He chuckled, and we were trying on clothes. I walked out to see the full length of my outfit when I get a tap on my shoulder. I honestly felt goosebumps because of how light and hard the tapping was. I turned around and she stared right into my eyes. "Why didn't you get my food?" You called me a jerk in German. Who would want to serve someone so rude? By the way, her children started to run out of the store and she didn't notice. "Get my food now!" Her voice sounded demonic, seriously. No. Now can you stop invading my personal space? Because you're starting to creep me out. I'll find you. She walked out of the store and I thought she was floating. Now, I'm in the ice cream shop, and dun dun dun, she appeared again. Now yelling, she said, "You kidnapped my children! You're lucky I found them before you took advantage of them!" Oh my god. "Excuse me, who are you to talk to my son that way?" I feel bad that he stood up because he's 168 centimeters tall, while she was almost my height, 175 centimeters, around 5'9", or 5'8". But because of her high heels, that made her taller. "None of your business, dwarf." I chuckled a bit from that. "This is between your son and I." "His business is my business as well, unless he tells me otherwise. Now tell me, what is this about?" "He didn't pick my food up at the restaurant, and I called him a jerk." Well, duh, of course he was right to walk off. You called him a jerk, he did right. "You're all Nazis, especially you." And she points at me. And I say, "Hey, freak you, Karen." Yes, I said Karen. Nobody calls me a Nazi and gets away with it. I've been called that enough for an entire year, you butt. "Freak you." Not gonna say that. "I can call you anything I want." The hot waiter then comes out of nowhere and tells the entitled mother to leave the mall immediately. "You're supporting Nazis too? Oh my god, you're all getting deported. My husband is a diplomat of Germany." The hot waiter then says, "Just leave, man, before I call security on you." Her first kid goes, "Mommy, can we leave now, please?" Second kid goes, "Yeah, Mommy, you do this all the time. You know where you end up all the time. Daddy's not going to be happy. He has to free you again." My dad, the hot co-worker, and I were shocked that this happened before and that the kids were there the entire time that she's done this. The security came and asked Karen to leave, and somehow the security seems to remember her name, so it must have happened while he's around. "These people, they assaulted me." She started fake crying. "They want to take advantage of me." I'm gay, and so was the hot waiter. That's what the hot waiter man told me. Security says, "Karen, we've been through this 1,000 times. You have no sign of assault, and not to mention I was standing right in front of the ice cream stand when I saw you harassing this young man. You've been doing it all day." "Yeah, Mom, just listen and let's go home, please." "No, you're all Nazis, you hear me? Nazis! Go back and find Adolf already, you pieces of crap." "Right, that's it, Karen. Come with me this instant, and let's make it easy, okay?" "No!" And she slaps the security guard. The hot co-worker and the security hold her down to apply zip ties, and security carried her away while still screaming Nazis. Kid 1 and 2 were still standing there completely unamazed. Then they talked to me. "Sorry about our mum, she does this all the time." "Yeah, our dad may not help her this time." "Well, it's not your fault of how your mother reacted. I'm just glad you're not like her." "Yeah, we know. Luckily our dad taught us well." "You know where your mum's going, right?" "Yeah, we do. We've been here 5 times, and 3 times was with her. You can clearly see how it ended those past few times." The good-looking waiter felt bad about how unhappy the kids were about their mum, and each gave them a free ice cream for any flavor. They got their ice cream and left to go to their mother. As far as I know, the entitled mother got banned from the mall as she assaulted several security guards on the way there and her previous times at the mall. Her husband, well, ex-husband, now divorced her and made her spend a few nights in jail as punishment. Also, he is a diplomat for Germany, but the entitled mother wasn't a local German. She's from the USA. Guess who lost their visa for good? I spent the €5 for sushi for dinner. Hell yeah. Edit. Some of you asked how I know about the entitled mother's fate. Her ex-husband tracked us down with the help of the hot waiter, found my grandmother's apartment in the next town over, and talked with us. He's a diplomat, so he has contacts. It was a quick process to get her deported. I don't know very well that Germany is so slow with this sort of thing, but I guess he pulled in favors. Not sure. All I know is that she's gone, and the kids are staying in Germany with their dad. Our next story was posted by user Dove Sites, titled, "Cancer is contagious, according to dumb entitled parents." I finally have enough karma. Disclaimer, I'm on mobile and this is my first post. I thought it would fit here since these entitled parents seem to think that cancer is contagious. I don't know if it actually fits here, but I just wanted to share this. There won't be any dialogue. Aww. I have a cousin who is about 7 or 8 years old. He always gets colds, and he was very sick before he was diagnosed with cancer. The day he was, it was very, very heartbreaking. He wasn't just my cousin, but him and his twin brother were like my own little brothers. He was diagnosed with a severe case of leukemia. This meant several trips out of town to the nearest children's hospital. Since he can't get sick, he has to wear a mask every time he goes and does his treatments. Because of this, anyone who was near him would back away or hide their kid. They would give my auntie dirty looks and talk about my cousin behind his back. It's understandable in a way because they don't know he has cancer. My auntie started getting annoyed by this, so she got a bumper sticker that clarifies that he has cancer and some wristbands made. I remember my auntie told me that one parent even told her to back off because she doesn't want her kid to get sick. When this entitled parent found out my cousin actually had cancer, they scoffed and pulled their child away. It's frustrating even hearing it, but to actually live like that? It's genuinely horrible. You would think that upon learning that he has cancer, the parents would relax a bit, but they still acted like he would get their precious angel sick with cancer. He's been bullied because of this and teased. We've had a few anti-vax nut jobs in my town, so his chances of getting sick are even higher. He ended up with a case of the flu and had to be driven out of town once again to be treated. He's in remission now, but this fight isn't over. His twin brother now has to be looked after because he's showing similar symptoms. It's not as bad as the other stories here, but it goes to show that uneducated parents really suck. My cousin is not contagious. He's not going to give your child cancer. Anti-vax parents refuse to get their children vaccinated, and this has and will make my cousin even worse. They also go on to say that they weren't expecting the post to blow up like this. It really means a lot, and for those wondering, my cousin is one of the strongest people I know. Despite his cancer, he still acts like every other kid. He runs around and plays. He's someone I admire a lot. My family and I are grateful for everyone that has helped us in this time. Our next story was posted by user Okuro Ishimoto, titled, "Let My Child Pull Your Hair." So, a little about me. I'm a 16-year-old high school student in grade 11, or junior as some of you may call it. I live in Ontario, and I take the TTC bus home. You can pay with cash and tickets, but they've recently introduced a thing called Presto Card, and you can fill it with money and take buses, trains, etc. I like dyeing my hair a lot. Imagine a 16-year-old boy with blue hair on the bus. That's how this story starts. Our cast and crew are entitled mother, entitled kid, me, Gordon Ramsay, where's the lamb sauce? Okay, not really, but I wanted to say some things that he'd probably say. So for those who don't know yet, I recently dyed my hair blue. Like Super Saiyan blue levels of blue. Like Wentworth uniform levels of blue. Like Grover's vomit levels of blue. Looking like a snack out here. Yeah, boy. So I took the bus home today because it was too cold, icy, and I really just didn't want to walk uphill today. So I get on the bus and do the old presto swipe, and hey presto, go to sit down. A few seats over, there's this kid, maybe around 4 or 5 years old enough to walk and talk, but I guess too young to be going to school, hence why he was on the bus. I'm sitting in my seat, listening to music on my headphones, which match my gorgeous hair by the way, and letting Dan Avidan serenade me with his lovely voice. And the kid comes up to me. Hi! I take off my headphones. Hi! Your hair's cool! Oh, thank you! Can I feel it? Now for those of you who may know me personally, I really hate being touched. But he's just a kid, and I figured there would be no harm into it. Nope! I lean my head over a bit, so my bangs can hang a little, and he starts off by lightly feeling it. All was going well until Satan possessed this little boy's body, mostly his arm, and with the force of a million Thanos snaps, he yanks on my hair. Maybe he thought it was a wig. Still, he's at an age where he should know better, but giving him the benefit of the doubt, I gently take his hand off and move away, saying, haha, alright, that's enough of that now. At which point, the kid freaks out about how he wasn't done, and he still wanted to feel it. But I told him that it was rude to pull people's hair, and that he wouldn't be allowed to feel it again. He didn't physically make any attempts to grab it again, but he didn't have to. His mother, who for some reason was an entirely different side of the bus as a small child, came over to see why her spawn was complaining. What's wrong? He pretended to let me feel his hair and then moved back before I was done. That's not what happened, crazy boy. I let him feel it at first, and then pulled away when he started tugging on it. Aw, come on, he's little. It couldn't hurt that bad. Now for anyone who's fully dyed their hair before, you'll know they bleach it down to the roots first. This can make your hair, including my own, incredibly sensitive. And since it's only been dyed recently, my hair is still getting used to it. Well, it is sensitive from being dyed, and your kids should know better than to pull people's hair. Bullcrap, it's not sensitive, you're sensitive. And you are being an ignorant piece of crap. Toodles, bench! As the bus got to my stop, I got up and she was yelling and calling me a jerk for being mean to her kid. And the bus driver got on his microphone and very firmly said, "Take your seat now!" just before I got off. While I wouldn't have minded the driver getting involved a bit earlier, He had a bus to drive, and the situation hadn't gotten too out of hand. Plus, it makes for a great story to tell on social media. Not sure who posted this next story, but it's titled, "Let the entitled kid watch you insert your tampon in the bathroom." We get a kick out of these entitled parent stories, and my husband said this would be perfect for this subreddit. Wow, didn't know it would blow up this much. Warning, if you couldn't tell from the little period talk. So I was at the mall, shopping, when Mother Nature called, and I had to go to the ladies' room. There was a line for the women's room. In front of me there was a woman, with her son, that looked around 8 or 9 years old. He was, in my opinion, getting a little too old to be accompanied by Mummy in the girls' room, but I just decided to mind my own business because I'm not a mother, and I don't have to think about those kinds of things. It's finally my turn, and I go into the restroom and choose my stall. It's a really big restroom with at least 20 stalls, and it's all full. I start doing my thing when I hear a woman in the stalls sat next to me shouting, "Excuse me, go away!" and "Stop, you're too old for that!" along with manic giggling from the kid. I'm caught with my skirt up and too late to change positions when I realize his tiny pervert hands are on the floor in the stall next to me, getting ready to move on to mine. All you women know that it's hard to get back out of this position once you're committed to it, else the tampon goes to waste. I immediately warn him not to check my stall or I'll kick him in the face. "Excuse me?" The entitled kid decides to check anyways. I'm in a defensive position. I kick him in the face as soon as he takes a peek. Lucky for him, I was wearing flats. The entitled kid screams and starts bawling his eyes out, shouting for Mummy. The entitled mother storms over to my stall, pounds on the door as hard as she can. "What did you do to my baby?" Can I add that she didn't even wash her hands yet? Yuck! I ignore her, feeling no guilt, and finish my business. I open the door and she shouts at me, "Why did you kick my baby in the face?" Why was he close enough to the stall for me to kick him in the face? He's a child. It's normal for them to be curious. Well, I warned him, and I frankly feel very uncomfortable changing my tampon in front of an underage boy. I'm frankly very embarrassed, but she needed to know the compromising position that I was in. The women in the bathroom hear and begin giggling and snorting at the absurdity of the situation. The entitled mother blushes and looks disgusted at my frank remark. A woman near me agreed that he was too old to be checking under women's bathroom stalls, and that the entitled mother should be watching her son more closely if she had to bring him into the woman's restroom with her. "You assaulted a small child. I'm calling security on you." I'll tell them exactly what happened and how he violated all the women in the stalls next to me. The entitled mother leaves, but I guess she felt outnumbered because she didn't call security. Instead, she stormed out of the mall, dragging the entitled kid by the wrist while muttering under her breath. And our last story was posted by user BritishBloke89, titled, "Nice Dog. How much?" Currently, my wife is transitioning from social work to dog trainer in the hopes of training assistant and companion animals for people with the need. As someone who suffers from anxiety herself, she knows how good a trained assistance dog can be in stressful situations. This story takes place at an off-leash dog beach close to where we live. My darling wife had just finished work and has decided to take our dog, a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, to the local off-leash beach for an impromptu training session and playtime. On arrival, she moves to a relatively quiet section of the beach and starts running the dog through some drop stays and recalls, and other things that are good to reinforce in a high distraction environment, with lots of other off-leash dogs and people around. After maybe 10 minutes, she releases the pup to have a run and to play with the other dogs, and sits down on the beach to watch him play, occasionally recalling him to reinforce the behavior before letting him explore and play again. As she's sitting there watching, she's approached by a father who's with a couple of kids, which isn't odd for this particular off-leash area, as it isn't too far from the main beach. The conversation goes as follows. EF for entitled father, W for wife. "That is an amazingly well-trained dog you have there." "Thanks, I'm actually a dog trainer, but it helps that he loves to learn. I'm not usually a fan of smaller dogs, but that one seems pretty smart." "Haha, yeah, well it's taken a while to get him there, but he's doing great." They both watch him play for a minute or so and make some small talk. My wife is still recalling him every so often. How is he with kids? Oh, he loves them. He loves any attention, but he really loves playing with children. The entitled father nods, watching his kids play with the dog. How much do you want for him? Ha ha ha, my wife laughs, thinking that he's joking. Some days I'd rehome him for free, but I seriously couldn't live without him. Ha ha ha, no, but seriously, how much? I've never seen a small dog that I like as much as him. Ha ha ha, my wife laughs again, nervously this time. Honestly, I could never part with him. You're a dog trainer though. You could always train yourself another dog. My wife is starting to get worried now. Or you could get a dog and bring him alone to our training centers and we could help you train him. Nah, but I really like your dog. I don't generally like small dogs, and he's already trained, so come on. Don't be unreasonable. How much for him? I can get you cash within the hour. My wife is getting up as she's feeling uncomfortable. He's not for sale, please stop asking. Come on, please. Look how much my kids like him, as he gestures to his kids, playing with a pack of assorted dogs, including ours. I'll pay you. I'll give you more than he's worth. For the last time, no, I'm not selling my dog. Now please leave me alone. She starts to move towards the car park and calls the dog to put him on leash so she can leave. As the dog runs up the beach, the entitled father tries to grab him by the collar, misses spectacularly, and gets a face full of sand. My wife puts him back on his leash and gets to the car park before having a small panic attack standing at the back of her car. A couple of the regulars see her and calm her down, and she tells them a story. But by then the entitled father and his kids have gone. We go back a few days later together, and there's a printed notice on the beach entrance asking people to be vigilant as a man was sighted trying to take people's dogs. Oh my god. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. That was a bit of a crazy one. Tell me what you think about it in the comments and we can have a little chat about it. Anyway, that's all I have for today and I'll see you later. Bye!